Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of the Purpose Sphere. I am your host, G. Alfred Palmer, and I'm excited about this session that we're having today. I'm excited about it because I don't think I've ever heard this before. I don't think I've heard this before. Not the way I'm going to present it. Um, I hear people talk about purpose all the time. I do. I hear I hear people talk about it. I've seen books written. And I've read some books and I've read other people's thoughts about purpose. And I have to admit, and it's not like I think I'm this, that, or the other, but I think my approach is different. I think it has a lot to do with my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, um, and what I think, and what I believe he deposited in me. So I think that I'm standing on some big shoulders to address a subject that I think is the most important one to humanity. And so there's aspects that I'm going to be approaching that may be new to some people. I think that that's necessary. Um, I think that if you're going to take something to the next phase or to the next level, you have to be standing on the shoulders of the person before you. But you have to, what that does is allow you to have a different perspective and give you as you look out, as you're looking out with the person standing on the shoulders of the person who's looked out, and you take that same vantage point and you're able to see out. You have a different vantage point because you have a higher level, a higher advantage, so you're able to see more and you have a different perspective. But yet you're still having the same uh, direction. You have the same uh, landscape. You have the same things, but you have a different perspective of what's out there. So I think one of the things that I'm going to be bringing to the table about purpose, maybe some different things that maybe it's not the different, but it's from a different perspective and different vantage point. Um, I want to talk about the whole idea of your mate within your purpose because I think many people fail to realize that there are some very important things that the mate contributes to purpose, which is why it's so important that you understand the type of mate you need. You know, I hear people talk about love languages all the time. Um, a mate isn't about love. It's not. It's about purpose. It's about finding, focusing, and informing and bringing into fruition purpose. So, um, you know, it's not about feelings. It's about your duty to purpose. And I hear people say, well, it's duty to family and legacy, but that your legacy is your purpose. Your legacy is your purpose. But anyway, I want to talk about mates and the importance of mates and how to select a mate as a purpose filled, purpose uh, valued person. Um, and I hear people talk a lot about high value people. I don't believe that there's any higher value than a person who has found purpose. There's no higher valued person on the planet. Why? Because that's the very reason why you were born, and that's why you're here. So it's important you find the right mate. And most of us don't know how to go about doing that, nor have we been told. And so people will say, where did you get I get this all the time. Where do you get this information? I get it from, and I tell people, only tell people who can really understand that it's God directed. It comes from the Creator. It comes through study. It comes through meditation. It comes through prayer. It comes through research. It comes through musing over things. It comes from listening to other people. It comes from a myriad of different ways. But I will tell you one thing that it always entails, and that is the ability to hear. You must be able to hear and be willing to hear. And see, what we fail to do is we fail to be willing to hear. Always remember, there's a difference between listening and hearing. Hearing is the most powerful aspect of being able to gain information. Hearing, because hearing takes every bit of the tripartite being, spirit, soul, and body. It takes all of you to be able to uh, receive and hear a message. But when you listen, and listening entails just a biological apparatus, and it doesn't so much goes to the point of deep introspection or change. And a lot of times people listen just to wait to hear you stop talking so they can get their point across. That's why listening is not the the modus operandi of being able to gain and retain information. Now, one of the things that I was told by one of my mentors is the importance of not just hearing, but hearing and writing things down. You retain over 7 times more information if you hear and write things down. So you might want to get a pen and paper and write down these things, because I'm going to use a PowerPoint presentation, and it's going to give you the opportunity to go back. It'll give you the opportunity to not only go back, but you'll be able to get to have the opportunity to uh, take the notes and ride with them however you see fit. And then if you have any questions or comments, what you can do is you can go to our email me at purposesphere at gmail.com. Purposesphere, the name of the program, Purposesphere at gmail.com. And what we can do is, I would love to bring you, give you the link to this particular channel, and allow you to become a part of the program. Maybe you want to have come in our chat, and you want to share or ask questions about purpose, and I want to be able to give you that opportunity. So, by all means, I love to hear from you. I love to hear from you and make you a part of what we're doing here. All right. So, you're made within purpose, or how to find a purposeful mate. Let's go. Let's look at this and see what we come up with. Um, Title again: Finding a Purpose-Filled Mate. The role a mate plays in your purpose. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You never heard anything like this before. You need to do me a favor. You need to like, subscribe, and share this broadcast. I need you to subscribe to this channel, because what it does is it boosts the algorithms and allows it to be seen by more people. But I need you to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, it'll continue to lay where it is. But I'm believing that this is a message that people need to hear, and because they need to hear it, they will eventually the spirit will see that it gets out there. But we need your help. Also, I have a couple other channels. I have one channel that's called the Red Hot Mic with G. Alpha Palmer. Go over there. It's different than this one. This channel here is more spiritually based. The focus is more of a spiritual content. The other channel, the Red Hot Mic, deals with current events and deals with more of the scientific approaches of how we can better do things in this space that we call Earth. So, and how we can be more productive. So there's a lot that I'm doing. Then I also have a sports channel, because I'm a sports enthusiast, and so I have several channels. So I'm busy, quite busy. Along with that, and doing other things, and also looking forward to being able to provide guidance and leadership for people that would be interested in becoming a purposeologist. We have an institute which helps people to not only locate their purpose and to put their purpose in action, but even to help other people find theirs. And it's important that we do that, because it is the answer to our problems in our community, culture, and clan. Okay, enough of the commercials. So let's talk about this idea of finding the mate, or the role a mate plays in one's life, concerning purpose. Now, let's talk about marriage. Marriage now and divorce in the United States. Some statistics say that 5.1 out of 1,000 people get married in the United States. In the age group where they seem to get married is between the ages of 25 and 30. Now, I'm going to say this to you. It's young for marriage, but if you found purpose, what that does is it opens the door for you to really focus in on your purpose and bringing that into fruition and having a great effect in your community, culture, and clan in purpose and through your purpose. Then I looked at some of the places where marriage is some of the lowest rates in marriage in our country, and that's Wyoming, Washington, and Colorado. Now, if you look at the geographical locations and if you look at things like weather, the economy, again, geography, where the state is located, you could see why maybe these would be more difficult places to get married because people of that age group between 25 and 30 probably not going to, in a large proportion, reside there or choose to reside in those states because of the inaccessible of variety of people because their population may not be as some of the others. Now, Austin, Texas has the highest, it should say, rate of marriage. It has the highest rate of marriage, but the third highest in divorce. So that means they're getting married in Austin, but they get divorced very quickly, in Austin, Texas as well. So it seems it depends on how you look at it. I really think that, and as we're going to look at it, people have different reasons for marrying and have different reasons for divorcing, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Some of the as a black American, I see the next three uh, stats as disturbing because it says that blacks have the lowest rate of marriage, have the highest rate of divorce, and have a higher rate of divorce than marriage. And so it's disturbing because what we're seeing um, on the landscape, one of the things that we'll talk about is vision. But one of the things that's required for us to do, gentlemen, is to have vision. And if you to have vision is to look upon the landscape and see how the cultural ebbs and flows are operating and how to navigate through those. That's your responsibility. But that's something that we're going to talk about as well. So we see some of these statistics when it comes to marriage and divorce. And what we're seeing, especially in the black community, we're seeing a high turnover in marriage. And I'm concerned about that because as a black American, what I'm concerned with not just blacks, but I mean, if you look across the landscape, it's not just blacks, but blacks have a tendency to set the cultural barometer, if you would. And if you want to understand how our culture is operating and functioning overall, you should look at the black community. Again, they set the barometer. Why is that so? And I think it goes back to the assignment that was given to, I believe, Simon when he was aided to carry the cross of Jesus, and I think that has a lot to do with the assignment that the black community has been given as carrying a cross for a community. And so to look at the black community is to ascertain what's going on culturally. Okay. Now let's look at types of relationships. There's a different types of relationships that we have. We have family and friends and acquaintances, and now that we've crossed over into the romantic, and now we've learned about the entanglement that has been a term that has been given to adulterous affairs to sugarcoat it, make it more acceptable. But the bottom line is they are called entanglements. And then there's what's called situationships. And those situationships basically are relationships that vary from situation to situation. And our ethical standards and our moral standards are depending on the situation. What may be ethical in one situation may not be ethical in another. And as a result of that, we have a tendency to change. And it's because of the situation. And that's dangerous because what that does is that says that we have no committed morals, no committed values, no committed merits, no committed anything. We're not committed to anything, and as a result of that, there's no ethics. We have no ethical or moral standards. And that becomes dangerous to a culture because it makes them more primitive and it makes them less conducive to compassion and empathy. Okay, so but then there's what the other one that I go back is partnership, and I think that this is another relationship that I find that people are speaking a lot about in these days. They're looking for a partner. They're looking for a partner. Well, a partner or a partnership is not a marriage. Nowhere is a partnership a marriage. A marriage has is a union, whereas a partnership is a business opportunity and a business concept that two individuals come to into a two separate individuals. Understand that two separate individuals come into a situation where they agree around a business opportunity. Now, each one of those particular uh, partners have responsibilities within the partnership, and if one partner doesn't uphold that their part, then the other partner has a right to void the relationship or the partnership. We call that a divorce in within the union or marriage. It's supposed to be marriage, but marriage is different because marriage is two individuals becoming one. That's the difference. There is no partnership. There is no I'm an individual, I'm this, I'm that, and you're an individual, you this and you're that. Anything with two heads is a freak. Anything that has two heads is abnormal. Anything that has two heads is not going to function properly. So what we've got to understand is that if it has two heads, one needs to die. Okay, so it's imperative that you understand that the model for marriage is not what we've come into in this day and time. So let's talk about the three types of marriage that are out there, and I think all three have merit. All three have merit, and I think they basically describe in some shape, form, or fashion the whole concept of marriage. First of all, is the co-laborer. The co-laborership is when two people come to labor together, and it's almost like a partnership. And this partnership, this co-labor, however, is not a partnership in the opportunity of work, or I should say in the area of business, but it's a work that they are working co-laboring together. Almost sounds like a partnership, but the co-laborship comes from a different perspective. It comes from not the business, but from the labor that's important to both having to bring to the table and the need for one another in within the relationship, and not so much looking at what the other person brings, but what you bring and what the other person and how you need that other person. Whereas business is it's they need to do their part, and if they don't, I'm moving out, I'm not staying, and that's what these relationships have become. And then the other thing that's I've made up this word, a helper, a helpership, and the helpership is basically understanding that, fellas, she's to help you. And when we understand that she's to help you, and that it's hard for a female to receive this concept because she wants to be the head. Females want to be heads. They don't want to be uh, helpers. They want you to help, but they want you to help in the way that they want you to help. But they don't want you to help in the way they don't want to help in the way that you ascribe them to helping, or that the biblical narrative ascribes him to help. But that's that's what happens in this modern age of relationship. And then there's marriage. Marriage is two, as I shared, two becoming one, and that is the union, the melting together, which is why divorce hurts so bad because in a marriage there's a ripping and a tearing because that oneness is broken, and as a result of that, there's damage. There's damage. So you want to be able to ensure that you find a marriage and you find a marriage that's going to last, and that you base your marriage on purpose. If you do that, you'll understand that you have both a helper and you have a co-laborer. Now, when it comes to backing up, even before we start talking about any further about marriage, I probably should have talked about this first. We have to talk about the two divine energies. The two divine energies, which right now are being challenged. I just saw a video of a actress going on a popular Facebook channel to talk about her being non-binary, and this young lady grew up in the church. She grew up as a Baptist, and her family is highly in the Baptist religion. But she has come out and says that she's binary. In other words, she doesn't ascribe to either being male nor female, or nor being attracted to males or females. She resists binary roles. Now, when we say binary, binary means masculine or feminine. The two energies are masculine and feminine. That is the impetus of you coming into this sphere. And the uniform or the design that you have is a representation of that masculine or feminine or that binary that you were sent here with to fulfill purpose. Now, you've got to understand this. Your purpose and the suit that you have on is the best way for you to fulfill your purpose. It is not your choosing. It's not your parents' choosing. It is God's choosing. It is the Creator's choosing, and determining that what's the best way for you to fulfill the reason that you're being sent. But some people will come and say that they know better than the Creator, and they choose to resist their design. They don't embrace their design. They dislike being what the uniform or the design that they have, and so they resist it, and they try to be something that they're not. But you can never be something that you're not born with. No matter what surgeries you have, no matter what you declare, no matter how you change your look or your clothes, no matter what you do, you cannot change your design. You can't do it, because your design goes beyond just who you are. It's the reason for you being. It's the reason for you being. And so what we've got to learn to do is embrace our design. Embrace our design, because our design is the reason why we're here. It gives us the best opportunity to do and to be and to fulfill what we are sent here to do. Right? All right. Now let's look at these two energies. First of all, the first energy is masculine. And if you're looking at masculine, we see that it penetrates, it pierces, it injects, it inserts, and it stabs. Listen, it's important that you understand, if you're not able to innately do those things, you're not masculine. Masculine is not designed for feminine. In the sense that feminine, I hear people say, "Oh, you're in your masculine energy." No, you're operating in masculine traits, things that you've observed and things that you've rehearsed, but that doesn't make it who you are. When you're masculine, you have to be able to penetrate, pierce, inject, insert, and stab. That's the nature of masculinity. Now, it's important to understand this, and this goes back to the creation story. When Adam was to come here and was sent to this planet, it says that when God sent him into this sphere, into this atmosphere, okay, it's important to understand that there was another energy out there, and that other energy was femininity. Now, when we look at feminine, it's important for us to understand that feminine is to receive, to incubate, nurture, and to secure. This is what feminine energy does. It incubates, it receives, it incubates, it nurtures, and it secures. Now, these two energies, One is a penetrator, one is a receiver. Okay. Now, in order to come into this sphere called Earth, female could not come in because in order for her to come into this sphere, it entailed being able to penetrate. She doesn't have the means to penetrate. So how was that going to happen? How was that going to happen? How was that going to happen? Adam had to cover her, had to cover femininity. Masculinity had to cover femininity in order for it to pierce and come into this sphere. Then, then when Adam was here in this sphere called Earth, he was put to sleep, and what was taken from him? His feminine energy was taken out. Feminine energy was separated. It wasn't his. It was because the Creator said it's not good for man to be alone or all one. It's not good. Why? Because to be feminine and masculine, him holding both, Adam was able to see the other animals who were able to have masculine and feminine and are able to reproduce. He didn't find something that would enable him to reproduce. He couldn't find his own kind. So in knowing that and becoming aware of that, he saw the need for the feminine. You have to see the need for feminine, fellas. You have to see the need for her because she is needful. Okay? So Adam was put to sleep. Femininity was extracted from Adam, and then was Eve, Eve was formed. Adam was created, Eve was formed. There's a difference between created and formed. Created is created from something that never existed before, but to be formed is from something that already exists. What did exist? Adam. So woman comes from Adam. The word woe here, right here, in our next verse, in our next script, it says right here, it says woman, woe means out of. So she came out of man. Woman comes out of man. This is why men have the right, the legal right, the divine right to speak into the life of women. You came out of me. You came out of me. Our children come through you, but you came out of me. And that gives me the legal headship. Now, the legal headship means nothing more than the responsibility for it. That doesn't mean you're the boss, the big cheese, the big kahuna. It doesn't mean any of that. It means you have responsibility. You have responsibility. Okay? So looking at woman, we also see in the Latin, it means feminine. That's where we get the word feminine from. A woman is feminine, right? She's not masculine in any shape, form, or fashion. She's not well, you're in your masculine energy. No, you don't have masculine energy. You have a masculine mindset, and that mindset comes from the traits that you've picked up, that you've observed and practiced over the years, and you've developed schema and you've developed paradigms that imitate masculinity, but you're not masculine. There's nothing masculine about a woman, but females will practice this. That's because they're not developed mentally, emotionally. They're not developed psychologically, physiologically, chronologically, right? Philosophically, intellectually, or emotionally. So if they're not developed in those spheres, in those specific areas, you're going to have problems. The same thing is on the flip side with males, because there's a difference between a man and a male. We'll talk about that at another time, because we're talking about Issa. Issa in the Hebrew is woman. Now, it's interesting to understand this. The word in Issa is used in both Hebrew, is used in Hebrew, and it represents both wife and woman. Wife and woman. That's the same word that's used. So what does that mean? That means that a wife is a woman and a woman is a wife. A wife cannot be a female. A wife cannot be a woman. A woman is a wife and a wife is a woman. It's interesting also that the same word issa is used for female animals, but not for women, or I should say for the human species of our kind. So why? Because it's a different there's there is a different perspective when it deals with animals. Animals don't become wives. Wives don't become wives, and women aren't females, and females aren't women or wives. What when we talk about it from a biological standpoint, we have to understand that animals aren't able to be wives and women. They are females and males. They're not fathers, right? And men or mother. No, no, they're females and males. Okay, so it's for us to understand that in order to be a wife, you have to be a female. Excuse me, you have to be a woman and not a female. In order to be a wife, you have to be a woman and not a female. A female is not a woman, and a female is not going to be a fit wife because she's not developmentally capable of doing it. Now, in the Old Testament, we see the word wife and woman used over 300, almost 350 times. The same word, because there was those two words have have they are in interwoven. They are practically the same thing, and I would dare say the same thing. Okay, the definition of woman. So, what is a woman? A woman is a wife, and a wife is a woman. But a female is neither a woman nor a wife. Try saying that 3 times fast. Try saying that 3 times fast. So to say the flip side is that what is a man? A man is a husband, and a husband is a man, but a male is neither a man nor a husband. Same deal. Same deal. Okay? How does a man find a wife? Oh, he doesn't. This is important, gentlemen. We've been taught right here. We've been taught, and we'll get to it, that we are supposed to find a wife. But what I've found is that religion has shown us that, and has promoted that paradigm, but it's not true. Okay, we'll get to it in a minute. And I want to say this, and I'm going to say this, and some folks may not like it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm not here to appease people. I'm here to do my assignment. And that is the Bible. The biblical narrative isn't a religious book. It's not a religious book. We've made it a religious book. But I mean, how many books has an author written, and we've taken the book and used it totally disconnected from what the way that the author wrote the book, or the intention of the book, or what was meant for the book. And I believe that's what we've done with the biblical narrative. It's been arrested. It's been arrested by religious people. But the book itself is basic instruction about living effectively for any and everyone that would live by the book. It would live by the narrative, by the principles. Understand this: principles are at the foundation of everything. If you find a principle, you can't violate a law, because laws come as out of principles. If you live by principles, you can't violate a law, because the principle supersedes the law. Okay, so be a principled person, and you won't have to worry about being a lawful person. I hear people say, I am a law abiding citizen. Well, you may very well, but you very well may be a law abiding citizen, but you may not be a principled person. Okay, but if you're a principled person, being a law abiding citizen is not difficult for you. Okay, so yes, the biblical narrative is not a religious book, but we've made it one. So here's a biblical narrative that says in Proverbs 18:22, who so findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. Now, we've we've been quoting this and throwing this boy around for decades, and probably even longer than decades, probably hundreds and thousands of years, probably, and at least hundreds and hundreds of years. And we talk about how we find this a wife. The word it's important for us to understand that the word find it means it doesn't mean you go hunt for her. The literal word for and see what we gotta understand is English is a bad language. It's a mutt language that does a very poor job of interpreting scripture. Okay, so what we've got to do is we need to really go back and we need to look at how scripture was written, the time frame, what was going on, who wrote it, what was the culture, what was the community like, right? What was it socially, right? Societally, like what was going on. So we need to understand all those things. What we need to understand is this: that the word "whosoever findeth," actually, the word "findeth" is the word "masal." Masal, which means to encounter. It means to happen upon. Okay, what are you happening upon? Happening upon a wife. Happening upon a woman. Right? Happening upon a woman means that you weren't intending because you were busy doing something. What were you doing? Well, you should be doing your father's business. And what is your father's business? Jesus said the same thing. He said, I must be about my father's business. What is your father's business? I would submit to you that your father's business is your purpose. You must be about your father's purpose. Your, the word business actually means the word busyness. It's what you're supposed to be busy doing. If you're busy doing what you're supposed to be doing, you will be so focused that you would have to encounter or to happen upon her. And what would draw her to you? Okay, we know what draws you now is the lips, hips, and fingertips. But if you're drawn to her and she's drawn to you by purpose, that will when the lips, hips, and fingertips fail, when the muscles are no longer there, or that six pack is gone, the 6 feet, you're not 6 feet anymore, or you don't have the financial wherewithal that you once had. When you don't have those things, but purpose is the linkage that would bring you together. It's the drawing factor. Some would call it the law of attraction. I call it the principle of purpose that brings you together because purpose has a masculine and feminine part to it, an element to it. There's an aspect of purpose that's masculine and an aspect that is feminine that needs to come together. If you look at everything on this planet, everything has a masculine and feminine, a yin and a yang, a positive and a negative. Everything has binary, binary, and you can only bring one or the other, and it's the suit that tells you your design that tells you which one that you're supposed to bring. You can't stab if you don't have the equipment. You can't receive. You can't nurture. You can't incubate if you don't have the right equipment. There's a reason why you were given that equipment. I'm not putting anybody down. You can make any choices you want, but the bottom line is you're going to be responsible because you violated the very intent that you were born. You violated it. And I just want to speak to the hearts of those that are out there and you're wrestling with the whole idea of masculinity and femininity. Understand this. You are not a mistake, and what you have been sent here to do is is a type and shadow of what's in your body and the design that you have that you came here with. You may not like that. You may not, but someone needs to say that. You can make the choices that you want, but there's always going to be consequences. Always. Okay? So he that findeth Massa, that encounters or appears or meets or detects or happens upon. If you happen upon her, you will happen upon her because it won't be about lips, hip, and fingertips. And what's even better is that she'll have those too. But more than anything, she'll have purpose and you'll fit because that union, right? That union, that two becoming one. Marriage is two becoming one. Union. But what is that union based on? Purpose. Purpose. You're the yin, she's the yang. You're the positive, she's the negative. You're the masculine, she's the feminine. You need each other. But you need to select the right kind. Just because just because he or she may sound great, look great, say all the right things, doesn't mean they're the right person. You need to take your time. Purpose people ask purposeful questions and have purposeful conversation. And if they don't do that, you're not in the company of the right person. I know it's tight, but it's right. Okay? So he that findeth a wife findeth, he finds a good. What do we mean by good? If and here's what's important: the word thing really doesn't. That doesn't. A woman's not a thing, right? So he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. No, no. But who findeth purpose finds a good thing. And in finding purpose, that good thing will incorporate eventually finding a wife. He so findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtain favor. What greater way to obtain favor than through purpose? A man and a woman connected in purpose. Oh man, that's favor. Why? Because it's the fullness of two becoming one. And the biblical narrative says that that a threefold cord is not easily broken. How can two walk together unless they agree? Agree on what? Agree in purpose. Agree in intent and motive. That's what's important. That's what's important. So to find a good thing, purpose is a good thing. What does that mean? It means it's beneficial, it's pleasant, it's agreeable, it's better, it's good understanding, it's valuable in valued in estimation. It's becoming. It's becoming that one. And as a result of becoming that which you were intended to become, that induces favor. And that favor spills over into prosperity. It spills over into productivity. It spills over into provision. Everything that you're looking for is in purpose. We're looking for someone making six figures. Purpose is going to give you more than that. That's peanuts. Because what purpose gives you what a price tag can't. Purpose may give you the ability to buy, money may give you the ability to buy things, but what purpose does is give you divine access. Money cannot give you that. Divine access can only be obtained through purpose. No other way. Okay? So that favor that you're looking for from in your life, and you seem to not be able to things working out for you, things don't seem to be going your way, it's because you haven't found purpose. And that's what we do here at Purpose Sphere. You go to our website, gapalmer.com, or you can go into our you can go to the Gmail, and that's purposesphere@gmail.com, and we'll reach out to you. We have materials, we have things that's going to help you move toward being able to position yourself to gain that favor that you deserve. It's never too late. You need to understand. I get this all the time. This is favor. This whole idea of purpose is for these young people, not for me. I'm too old. No, you're never too old. Abraham was 75 when the promise was given him. When he realized purpose, he was 75. The purpose, the promise wasn't fulfilled. The purposeful promise wasn't fulfilled for another 25 years. Why? Because it took him that long to get to where he needed to get. Now, here, Purposeology and Purpose Sphere is here to help you get to that place. So it doesn't take 25 years, right? So we want to help you. We want to help you. GAPalmer.com. Okay? All right, so, I moved the script. I moved several. Okay, there you go. All right, so whosoever findeth a wife, whoever findeth a wife, findeth, he whosoever findeth purpose, a wife findeth, and you find a good thing in purpose with your wife, and obtain favor. You obtain meaning to produce or to bring out or to promote. It promotes favor. Does your wife promote? No. Your purpose enables you to obtain it. Favor of the Lord. Okay? That word Lord actually means Jehovah, which means covenant. It means covenant, and that there's a promise connected with this favor. It's a result of finding and arresting the promise. A covenant is a promise. And the covenant that you have is that of purpose. That covenant is of purpose. If you find, if you form, you fashion, and you figure out your purpose, you are destined. You are destined to have a covenant relationship with the Almighty. Okay, everything has purpose. Everything, everywhere, and always has a distinct and specific purpose. You have one purpose. People say, oh, I have different purpose. No, you have one purpose, and one purpose only. That's what you need to find. Now, that purpose can be manifested in different ways, but it's always going to be one thing. For instance, I remember when I was a kid, it used to have these ink pens. It used to be this ink pen that had different colors. It would have a black, a red, a green, and a blue. And you could press down, and it would write red. You press down and write. But what was its purpose? Was it the purpose of the pen? Is the purpose of the pen for the colors? No. The purpose is to write. That's the purpose of it. But these different colors were functions of the pen. See, a lot of people think their function is their purpose, and it's not. It's not. You've got to understand that the pen is to write. It's not about what colors. The colors are great. It's fun. It's great. But it's not the reason for it. Okay? All right. Let's understand this. Everything has purpose, and it has a distinct and specific purpose. You have a distinct and specific purpose. Specific. I use that word. I always want to say Pacific. Specific purpose, right? You have a specific purpose, and you must find it. That's what Purposeology is about. That's what the whole reason for Purpose Sphere is, to help you find it. Now, Ecclesiastes says, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under the heaven. This is what's important. See, there's everything. There is a season. Everything that there is a season, and we've got to understand that a season is a period of time. You have a season, and when you enter into your season, you need to go and run with it and ensure that you're fulfilling and operating within your season. And a time. to every purpose under the heaven. Okay? There is a time, a season, right? And under heaven. We're talking about there's a place, there's a time, there's matter, there's time, right? And there's a specific location. See, the thing that we don't understand is part of purpose is understanding this very idea of matter, season, or place, space, time. These are very critical components in understanding and finding purpose. That's what we help you do. Well, what is purpose? Let's get right down to brass tacks. What is purpose? Purpose is the original idea, intent, aim, objective, or goal of a thing. And so everything has an original idea. In the mind of the creator of the thing, there's always an idea of what the creator had in mind. So what we have to do is go back and find out what was in the mind of the creator when you were created. That's what we do. Purpose possesses masculine and feminine. I've been saying that for the last few slides. And it's important to understand that there is a masculine and feminine to purpose. Now, it's important you understand that everyone's purpose is different. Even though she has purpose and is yin to your yang, it's still different because everyone has a different fingerprint, right? No one has the same fingerprint. But it's this whole idea that these two come together, and they come together because of the amalgamation of purpose that brings them together, and that allows them to solidify and become one. It's important that we understand that there is masculine and feminine in purpose, and we need each other to fulfill purpose. Now, general purpose. There's a general purpose, right? In the beginning, God said, let us make man in our own image and after our own likeness, and let them have dominion. That's general purpose. The idea of dominion is general purpose. I call it the Dominion Mandate. I have a book on it. But understanding the Dominion Mandate is important in us being able to understand the difference between what I call general purpose and what I call individual purpose. When we look at general purpose, we're talking about dominion. We're talking about general purpose, overall purpose for humanity is to exercise dominion over the whole planet. This is where we're having problems. We're having problems because we're not exercising dominion. Look at what's going on around us. Be honest. You know that you know within yourself we are not experiencing dominion the way that we should. And the reason is because of this. We're lack. Oh, let me just say this, and I'll get to that. Man's general purpose is to do the same thing that we just talked about. He penetrates, pierces, injects, and inserts and stabs dominion. How does he do that? How does he do that? Okay, and then with woman, she on the other side of the coin, she receives. The general purpose is for her to receive, to incubate, and to nurture. We talked about those, even in this sphere. But the next thing is what's important. General purpose. The reason why we're not experiencing dominion is because people are not finding their individual purpose. They're not finding their individual purpose. And because of that, because purpose is designed to answer the questions and to solve the ills or the areas where we fail to have dominion in this sphere. It answers those questions. It solves that problem in our community, culture, and clan. Everyone plays a role in a general purpose by exercising individual dominion or individual purpose. How do we do that? When we exercise general by everyone doing what they're exercising dominion, but the way we do that overall dominion thing is by understanding our individual purpose and beginning to operate and to function in it. Each person is born with individual purpose. Everyone has purpose. There's no one or nothing that is purposeless. We may not understand or even know the purpose of it, but there is one. There is one. There's always one. Okay, so individual purpose we must find, which means to locate; focus, which means we are to concentrate upon; form, which means that we are to shape it, to form it, and configure it, and bring it into structure; and to bring it, and lastly, fruition is to manifest or bring it forth in the material world. This is what we do with purpose. We've got to find, focus, form, and bring into fruition. We're not doing it, but that's and I'm going to tell you this: your purpose is not your passion. Purpose and passion are not the same thing. I hear people all the time talking about my passion, my passion, my passion. Your passion is not your purpose. Passion is an emotion, and your purpose is never emotional. Never. Never emotional. Passion is emotional, and emotions fluctuate, not only from day to day, but from moment to moment. So you can't base purpose on something so unstable as emotions. The purpose has to be based on an idea. An idea is something that does not change. It doesn't change. So if an idea doesn't change, that's what you want to base purpose on, an idea. Remember I said it's the intention, it's the idea. It's an intentional idea. Okay? Now, I want to talk about purposeology. I know I'm going around a lot. It's going to all come back. Okay, so what I'm trying to get you to see is how we can help. Okay, so now purposeology. Purposeology is a spiritual scientific methodology designed to help seekers rediscover their individual purpose, because individual purpose is the answer that we're looking for. It's the answer to our problems in our community, culture, and clan. Every one of us have a problem we're supposed to answer. My problem is to help people find purpose. That's the answer that I'm here to provide. That's the answer I'm here to provide. And I've been doing it for a long time. Okay, so here's what's important. The word in red is rediscover. One of the things that we've done is we've come here alive to purpose. And you know when you were most alive? When you were a child. When you were a child, you were more alive to purpose than you ever were. And then you were begin to get uploaded with all this material from your parents and from schools and from religion and from your community and from society and from culture. And you got all this stuff stacked on top of that original that original idea that it became so hard to hear. So we lost it. And what purposeology does is help us to rediscover, to unstack all that stuff so that we can hear again our purpose. Now, a man has a vision, but a male has dreams. Now, I'm going to say something that may upset some folks, and that is that males dream, men have vision. Males dream, men have vision. Why? Well, because a vision is that which you see. It's it's in the Hebrew. It's the word hazah. Hazah, which means to see, to behold, to perceive with intellect or intelligence. That's what vision is. Vision is your ability to see, to behold something. And that thing that you behold is something that you've seen your whole life. That's that vision. That vision that you've seen your whole life. Okay. Now, what a male does is he dreams. What a dream is that which it means to it actually means a failure to see. It means to It means to be fat or fleshly. Dreams come from fleshliness. Your dream may be something as a result of something you ate. Vision is never about what you ate. Vision is never about what you dreamed. Vision is about what you see. And if you understand one thing, I want you to understand this. Men are visionaries. We love vision. We love attractive women. We love attractive cars. We love attractive. Because we're visionary. We see. And it's important that you see. Now the question is, what is it that you've been seeing for the course of your life? That's an important one. What have you been seeing for the course of your life? Men have visions. Males have dreams. Know that there's a difference between a male and a man. A male lacks development. He's overdeveloped, underdeveloped, right? Or he's underdeveloped, overdeveloped, or not developed at all in the specific of the 8 areas that we've talked about over and over again. Okay? We talked about them over and over again. So what should a man bring to the table? I hear this question all the time. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Well, what do you bring to the table? Everybody wants to know, what do you bring to the table? This is what you're supposed to be bringing to the table, gentlemen. Purpose. Purpose. You should be bringing purpose conversation, purpose idea, purpose to inject, to penetrate, to insert, and to stab. And if she doesn't receive it, then you know it's not her. You know it's not her. Because if it's her, she will receive it. And once she receives it, there's some other things that she'll do as the feminine part of her purpose. And her being able to receive, incubate, nurture, and secure. But you're picking the wrong ones. Picking the wrong ones. Right? We talked about the masculine purpose components. Man brings vision. We've got to have vision, fellas. And the only way you can have vision is to understand what vision is, where vision comes from, and how to relocate your vision. Vision is not a business. Vision is about your work. A business is not, that business is not your work. It could be, but not in most cases it's not. You've got to find your work first. And before you can find your work, you got to find purpose. And if you find purpose, what purpose does is set up the parameters, the boundaries to know what is right and what's good. See, there are good things that you could be doing that is still the wrong things. But the right things that you're supposed to be doing are always the good things. Always will be good. But always, you've got to understand that just because it's good doesn't mean it's right. And the only way that you can understand the difference between right and good is to establish purpose, because purpose will establish those boundaries for you. So we've got to have vision. And what is vision? Vision is purpose in picture form. What is it that you see? What is it that you keep seeing and you've been seeing all your life? I'm not talking about something that you see now and then. I'm talking about always see. I've seen myself doing this for most of my life. And that's a long time. Vision is purpose in picture form. And what does purpose consist of? What is it? What do you need for purpose? You need visual perception. You need to be able to see. You need to be able to see. Look out beyond that which is visible to that which is invisible and see it. Visual perception. Picture of the finished product. You see yourself doing something, the finished product of something. You're there, you're doing it, you're something, but you continually see yourself there, or doing that, or being that, or whatever it is. You continually see it. That's purpose. And again, it's seeing into the immaterial. It's tapping into the creator and the creator's creativity or the creator's mindset and activating the creativity power that you have inside. A man without a vision isn't a man. He's a male. I'll say that again. A man without a vision isn't a man. He's a male. Ladies, you should be asking, what's your vision? I hear people say, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's the type and shadow of asking a question about vision. What do you see, gentlemen? And if you don't see anything, it's because you're not developed enough to see. So when she asked you, where do you see yourself? Yeah, I know it sounds like a business interview. I know. Ladies, you need to couch that better than sounding like you're interviewing someone. It's insulting the way that you ask that question. Like you're interviewing someone, like you've got a job for them. No, the truth of the matter is he's interviewing you. He's the one with the vision, not you. Mm-mm. He has a vision. You've got to understand and catch the vision. That's the seed. You've got to receive it. So you don't have the vision. You're not interviewing him. He's interviewing you. Okay, so let's look at the qualities of a visionary man. These are the qualities you should have as a visionary man. You should be persistent, inspirational, open-minded, innovative, imaginative, bold. I love the word bold. Collaborative. And I believe that should be emotionally controlled. I got out of whack here. It should be goal-oriented, resolute, well-organized, as well as responsible, enthusiastic. These are the qualities that you need to have, gentlemen. We need to work these things into ourselves. Most of us don't have many of those. Purpose will give you that. Purpose will give you those things. What should she bring to the table? Because it's not just about you. It's about her. What should she be bringing to the table, gentlemen? Right? Because she's supposed to bring that feminine quality. Because as a woman, she's nothing more. She's all woman. There's nothing about her that's masculine. If there's a tinge of masculinity in her, if you pick up a tinge of masculinity, run for the hills. Run for the hills. Don't ignore red flags. Red flags are there for a reason. I don't care how attractive she is. There's someone that's as attractive as she, if not more, and also, even more so, is in line with your purpose. Some people say in line with your program. But you got to have a program. And your program's got to be the right program, not a good one. Just because it's good doesn't mean it's right. Hello, somebody. All right. So she's got to have those components. So what does a woman bring? She needs to bring virtue. This is important. Most folks, especially guys, don't even know what virtue is. You've passed on virtue. You've met virtue, but you didn't like it because it wasn't sexy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't alluring in the way that you think it should. But it is. There's sexiness in virtue. There's means of being allured by virtue. But you got to have the right heart and mind first. Virtuous woman. Who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above rubies. It's the same word, Issa. Who can find a virtuous wife? Right? Who can find a virtuous wife? Who can find so when we look at virtuous, what are we looking for when we're looking for a virtuous woman? Some of you don't understand what a virtuous woman is. A woman of value, right? She's a woman of tremendous value. Let's look at some things. She To define virtuous is to say that she's moral. First of all, she's moral. We, a woman's moral. Females are not moral. They're moral depraved. Look at what's going on. Look at some of these celebrities and the things that they do. They're immoral. That's not a woman. That's a female. It's a female. The things that these guys do, the way they talk, the way they carry themselves, the tattoos and all the tattoos. Now, I have tattoos. I do. But I'm talking about there's on your face. Are you serious? Anyway, moral, righteous. Got to be righteous, good, able, strong, and fierce. You need a virtuous woman. Fellas, you need a virtuous woman. Why do you need a virtuous woman? One of the reasons why, and I just feel to say this. One of the reasons why you need a virtuous woman is because she's emotionally connected. You need her emotional barometer. She can help you emotionally because mostly men are not going to do well emotionally because we're so focused that we negate and neglect emotional information. And she helps us with that. She's that piece that you need. She's the yin to your yang. She's the positive to your negative. She's the feminine to your masculine. So you need her. You need her. And she needs you. Now, qualities of a virtuous woman. Again, this thing has moved all over the place. Let's see. She's a critical thinker. She's a global thinker. I'm not sure how. She's virtuous. She's a great communicator. She's a reasonable thinker. She's health conscious. She is also fierce temperament. She is an incubator. She is a leader. She's inspirational. She's trustworthy, and I believe the last one underneath there is she's a strategist. That's important. Virtuous and strategists are very important. She's going to be the one that helps you strategize things. If she's really the woman that you'll give her the seed and she'll give you, that's what you'll do with any woman. You give her groceries, she'll give you a meal. You give her a seed, she'll give you a baby. You give her a vision seed, she'll give you a strategy for how to complete it. If it's the right woman. If it's the right woman. If not, you're gonna have to go it alone. But then there will be women that will come alongside that will come to help. Just like in the church. That's what happens. A woman brings strategy. She's a strategist. She brings a blueprint, an approach. She brings tactics. She brings a master plan. She brings a great design. She brings a plan of action. She brings a game plan. She comes ready. She's going to figure things out. Because she goes step one. Let's doing a meal or preparing a dish. She puts the ingredients step by step by step because that's the way it's done. A woman without virtue isn't a woman. She's a female. Remember I just talked about a male not being a man? This is the same thing. A woman without virtue. A man without vision is dangerous. A woman without virtue is just as dangerous. A man needs a woman. A wife needs a husband. A man needs a woman, or a woman needs a man. And a wife needs a husband, or a husband needs a wife. Now, here's some keys. Husbands, man, these are important. You need to write this down. These are the things that you need to do. Right now, you need to start doing this right now. And the way that you can do that, number one, is find your purpose, is to contact us at Purpose Quest International. And you can go to GAPalmer.com, or you can go to purposesphere.com. Excuse me, purposesphere@gmail.com, or you can go to our website as well, which is purposeology.com. Okay, so what's important for you guys is first you got to find purpose. You got to focus on purpose. You got to form purpose. We can help you with that. And as you begin to embark on doing purpose, you will encounter your wife. You'll encounter a lot of women that will come alongside you, but you got to find the right one. And the only way that you can find the right one is that you've got to understand your purpose so innately and so strategically that when you talk to her, you'll find out if she's the right one or not, because she'll be able to identify and to really connect with what you're talking about. And you'll hear the same kind of speech, same kind of idea with her. But on the other end, she'll be the yin to your yang, or the yang to your yin, however you want to put it. But she'll be that, and you'll hear that. But you can't hear what you don't know, right? So as you encounter her, you'll encounter favor, and then you inject your purpose into her, and your wife will help bring it into fruition. That's outstanding. Next for wife, ladies, get your paper out. You need to write these down. First, you've got to find purpose. Again, just like him, we can help you with the first 3 steps. Form in becoming a woman or a wife. How we can help you with that. And to focus on proper womb functionality. Because the womb is not just your literal womb, but you have to understand how you're going to help this man is with your spiritual womb. This is how you help him. And you become a helpmate for an appropriate man. You have to be a woman in order to be a wife. So it's important for you to be willing, because a woman knows that she's a helpmeet for man. You're here for man, not for man for you. And if she thinks that you're here for her, that is not a woman. Keep moving. That's not a woman. Meet your husband, get married, and use your womb physically and spiritually. Right? Okay. For more information, please come to our website, gapalmer.com, and we can go. We have some literature, and I have some materials. I have some surveys and questionnaires that's going to help you in asking the right kind of questions around marriage, around relationship, around purpose, so that when you're talking to people, when you're talking about this idea of purpose and talking about coming relationship with someone, then you'll better be able to equip to have that conversation and know the right kind of questions and what to say and what not to say. Well, that's it. I hope you gained something from it. I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'm getting used to doing some of these things, and it's still kind of new, but we'll get there. It takes time. This broadcast is not, I don't think I've been doing this broadcast for a couple months yet. But we're going to continue to move it forward, and we're going to continue to bring content that I think that is very, very important to you and to how you can move and shape and form and how you move forward from this point on. Well, that's it for this particular edition of Purpose Sphere, and I'm hoping that you've gotten something out of it. And if you have, please, give me the chance to talk with you. You can send me a direct message to 301-875-1218, and I'd love to hear from you, and we can talk. Give me your email, text me your email, and we can begin an exchange of information, ideas. Iron sharpens iron, so we can talk, and I love to do that. Exchange ideas and move forward. Okay. So again, thanks again. Till next time, G. Alpha Palmer, and we're done.